Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Death Talks. On this channel, what we do is we listen to people tell their stories about death and loss and living and what they've learned through their situation. This one is from the 1090 podcast. So if you'd like to watch the video all by yourself, please feel free. It's at the 1090 where you can find the video. Anyways, let's get going.
I'm here with Jared, Aline, and Jaden. And your last name is cool. How do you say it though?
Schoenrock.
Schoenrock.
Yep.
Man, that's a name.
It didn't get easier. My last name was Bouchero before, and it's Schoenrock now.
Schoenrock.
So my poor kids.
Schoenrock.
My fault.
That's a hell of a last name. What is that even?
It's German.
German.
The nice thing is there's not many. Everywhere we go, it's
pretty uncommon.
Pretty unique, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if I pronounce the name wrong or say anything wrong, just jump in and correct me. We're going to start with Sienna's obituary, and then we will go from there. Sienna was born in Maryland to Jared and Aline Schoenrock. Sienna's older sisters, Micah and Jaden. Mika, see? Thank you.
It's okay. It's all right.
Were so excited to meet the newest bundle of joy. Little did her sisters know Sienna would blow them out of the water when it came to academics and athleticism. Somehow Sienna could function off of 6 hours of Dora. Is that Dora the Explorer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And 3 hours of sleep. Then wake up the next day and show those kindergartners what 2 + 2 equal. Who wrote this again?
Mika did. Her sister.
So well done. Very good. Eventually, Sienna became the older sister to 2 kids at once and didn't even have a chance to see what it was like to have one little sibling. But she handled it with poise, joy, and so much patience. The twins, Ella and Liam, were so lucky to have a sister as patient as Sienna. Sienna could only be truly described as the most popular introvert. I love that. She had the most incredible friends and teammates that anyone could ask for, but how could people not be attracted to the warm, kind, loving personality of Sienna? At the end of the day, she did so well knowing that she needed her own space and time to decompress from the stressors of life. Sienna was a book fanatic. Not only did she read religiously, but the books she chose helped her feel like she was not alone in her own life situations. What are some books she liked? You guys remember some?
She was upset. It's kind of funny because she was obsessed with Colleen Hoover. I don't know if you know who that is.
Don't.
And it was funny when she first started talking about the books. I was like, well, because, these teen books sometimes they can get pretty racy or whatever. Not that I care that much, but she started loving them when she was like 15 or so. So I was like, let me look on and see if they're kind of age appropriate. I don't care that much, but I'm like, if you're going to learn certain things, I'd rather tell you first and then you can read about them second when it comes to sex and all that stuff. Anyways, so I found her age appropriate for her age group, whatever. And then for Christmas, I think this last year, she's like, can I please get this one? I know it's 18 plus, but can you please buy it for me? And I finally bought it for her and she was so excited because she's like, I'm 17. I'm reading the 18 plus books, But
it's like a little kid watching a regular movie.
Oh, totally. 100%. But for some reason, they're just way more graphic in the books, but it's fine. But she loved the book. It ends with us and it starts with us. And they just came out with that movie, but her best friend Brooks was saying,
Wow, that's funny. I guess I never thought about it like that. That the books are way more graphic than the movies are. Because, I've never limited my kids' reading based on the age that the books are for. If they're interested in the book, then I either read it to them or they read it. So that's really funny.
they have got to make a movie about this. They have to. So when that movie came out, her best friend was like, I just went to see it and I cried the whole time because she's like, Sienna was waiting for this movie to come out,
Yeah.
So she loved Colleen Hoover books. She loved the Harry Potter series and a series of unfortunate. She was kind of a quirky kid.
Yeah, I love the series.
Yeah, the series of unfortunate events.
Snicket.
Huh?
lemony snicket. Right?
Yes. She loved all of those. She loved kind of a little bit of everything, but loved Colleen Hoover. She loved her Colleen Hoover.
Okay, sorry, I lost my spot here. She was a book fanatic. She was mature beyond her years. Aside from being incredibly intelligent, she was such a good athlete. Sorry, I lost my spot again. Her sports of choice included soccer, which, no one's perfect. But then she makes up for it with basketball. Yeah, basketball's the best. And most recently, running. Playing multiple sports at a time can be difficult to master, but she was good with an exclamation point. And when she was on the bench to take that much needed break, she cheered louder for her teammates than the crowd in the stands behind her. She was the ultimate team player, and those who played alongside her were so lucky to do so. Sienna recently fell in love with running, and boy did she run. The soles of her shoes would be worn so quickly, so she'd get a new pair and never look back. Sienna enjoyed running organized races with her little sister, Ella, and her mom, Aline. The only other two that liked to run in the family, in parentheses. Being able to do something so special to her with people so close to her heart had to be so liberating, and it was always attainable to sweet Sienna. Sienna passed while she was out training for a half marathon. Although it is nothing we ever could imagine, how incredible it is that she left this earth doing the exact thing that made her feel alive. I think I'm going to read this last part again because I think it just kind of shows your family's perspective on this horrible thing. But Sienna passed while she was out training for a half marathon, although it is nothing we could imagine how incredible it is that she left this earth doing the exact thing that made her feel alive.
Wow, that is an incredible thing to say. I mean, for her sister to be the one to write the obituary is amazing. Because let me tell you, that was definitely the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life, was to write my father's obituary. Like, what? I have to write the obituary? Like, where do you even start with that? Like, how? And it was horrible. It was so hard. It was. And because you don't want to mess up, you want to get the essence of this person in these few words, and it's hard, right? And for them to understand that how profound it was that she passed doing the one thing that she loved the most, like to take that and to feel that, to take that positive, that light, that little bit of light in all this darkness, like those are the things that matter. Those are the things that are so important, to find the light. Because guess what? Dark will come. Darkness is going to come all the time for everybody. There will be moments of darkness. And your job is to find the light. Where's the light? Let me find it again so I can move out of this darkness.
All right, should be a good one. Music's in. Life's 10% what happens to you and 90% what you're going to do about it. We're back to the 1090 podcast. What do you guys think the obituary? Have you read? I'm guessing you haven't read it since the funeral service? Or?
No.
I don't think I've read it since I was so proud of her for doing that. I thought it was beautiful.
For a sister to write that's because the headspace she's in, usually they're writing this, a day or two after?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I love reading obituaries. I know it's kind of dark and it's not everyone's thing, but, like, I really do.
It does tell a story that, I don't know, you just get to learn about that person. So I think it's amazing, and she did such a good job.
Yeah.
So.
Well, this is kind of unique, pretty cool. We have the mom, the dad, and a sister. So we're going to get multiple perspectives off this thing. Where do you guys want to start? Do you want to start how good you had it before, or just get right to the day of, or how you two fell in love and had these kids? Where do you guys want to even start with this thing?
I don't know. I would love to talk a little bit about her first,
Sure, absolutely.
but I feel like I've been the only one talking, so hand off.
No, I think we had a great family dynamic, prior to her passing, but she was really kind of the glue to our family. Actually, she was.
You had 5 kids total.
5 total. Yeah.
And she's right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. But she really was the glue she was always worried about everybody else and making sure that everybody else was okay. And also the one, she wouldn't let anyone go anywhere really by themselves. Like anytime, like I would leave, she would make sure if nobody was going with me, she'd come with me or I don't know. She just did a great job of making everybody be together all the time. And
yeah, like it said in the obituary, like a team player.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, even in sports, I mean, that was the fun thing to watch. I went to a lot of her basketball games, and the thing that really sticks out to me about her was things didn't come to her super naturally. Some people, like, I felt like when I grew up, I was naturally pretty decent. Maybe not the standout player, but like things came pretty easy. For her, it wasn't as easy. But to see her put in she pushed herself. We didn't push her to do anything. She would go early to practice, be completely ready, go all the way through practice, push everybody during practice, stay late, do things on her own, and really push herself to be the best that she possibly could. And so even when she wasn't playing, on varsity or whatever she was playing on, she was the one on the bench, or even when she was out, for a period, she was the one that was jumping off the bench and screaming and being there for everybody else. And she was the same in our family, the same for us. So
it was cute because she was like everybody's biggest cheerleader. If you, I should send you her life sketch from her, because we had a lady, one of my clients from where I work. She's amazing. I love her so much. But she actually watched the funeral after, because we've never watched it after. But she typed out everything, every single speech, or every single talk, every single prayer, everything, and created books for our whole entire family, like 30 of them, like 30 copies. And my little sister did her life sketch, and she spent, I don't know, like 2 full days, no sleep, creating that thing, because she's like, I had to make it perfect. Like, it had to be perfect. And it was cute because she looked up all Sienna's old Instagrams, and some of them were like, was it like Ella Cheers or Ella Tumbles? And it was like she created an Instagram. Yeah, but she created an Instagram for Ella. She's like, Ella's the most amazing cheerleader, and she tumbles and she does this and that and blah, blah, blah. And so she was always like that, just always cheering everyone on, and even her friends. And the funny thing about basketball, she played soccer from the time she was little, but she played basketball. She joined the basketball team in 9th grade in high school, which that's scary as it is, because usually most kids have played their whole life.
She didn't really play at all before.
No basketball experience, but she was so tall. We were like, Sienna, you got to play either volleyball or basketball, because you have like the hands for it. You have the body, like, and everything.
Makes sense.
Yes, it made sense. And so when she tried out, her best friend Tiana was like, because she's played basketball her life, she's like, what are you doing here, But she's like, I'm going to try out for basketball, And so she wasn't the best player, obviously, but I remember one of her friends, Kylie, came over and told me, she's like, there was one day when, I don't remember, it was like freshman or sophomore year, and this girl was, Kylie's older, but she's like, I just saw her after everyone had left practice, and she just was like shooting, like taking shots. And I watched her just doing it by herself. And so she came and started getting, I don't know basketball talk. My little sister's like a basketball pro, but like she just started like returning the basketballs to her, like giving them back to her or whatever. And I think Sienna, that day she like broke down and started crying or something, because she was like, I'm going to do this. But like obviously frustrated, because I think her biggest competition was always just herself, But it was really cute to just hear that, like, how hard she tried no matter what. Like, it was never her intention or never her goal to be the star. She just always wanted to be better than the day before. She just always wanted to improve. And that's how she treated everyone else too. We always laugh about because the 5K, everyone's like, I'm not going to be able to run. I'm going to disappoint Sienna or whatever. And she's like, we're like, no, she would never be disappointed. If you waddled past the first start, whatever, and that's where you ended, she'd be like, you did it. You did enough for what you needed to do or what you wanted,
Well, the amazing thing with her though is I remember picking up from many soccer practices just crying, or even after games. They'd have a great game and do very well, but she'd come off the field crying. We'd get in the car and she was more upset that, like, she knew what other people had, and if they didn't give it, she was more upset about that they weren't able to push through. So I mean, the discipline that she had to push herself to do her best.
It-
She pushed everybody else to be their best as well, and she was genuinely like upset when they
And
Yeah, wouldn't
genuinely
push past
happy
it.
for their successes. Like never like, oh, they scored and no.
no.
She was like, this
bench, she
chick
was
was
the loudest
amazing
one.
and she killed it and blah blah blah. And
Right.
it's
Very
she was
empathetic. She could feel
the
it
best
really
kid
good.
ever. Like,
She reminds me of Courtney.
yeah.
Because Courtney played multiple sports. She played volleyball, basketball, even did softball for a little bit. And great teammate. Didn't worry about being the best. Just wanted
Wanted to
be
be
a
part
good-
of a team.
Yeah, I'll just
Yeah.
defend and rebound and run around
Yeah.
and have a smile on. And yeah, I feel like Courtney and Sienna are very similar in that way.
I love that.
What about you, Jaden? Give me some funny like sister arguments. Like, that's my shirt. You can't wear it to school. Like, do you guys
That
have
was
any of
always it. Like our clothes. She always stole my clothes, or I'd take her shoes and not put crease guards in her Jordans, and that was like the
That was-
biggest.
Oh, how funny is that, right? Because isn't that true? Like, you're going to fight with your siblings. And especially if we're girls and we're sharing each other's clothes. Yeah, you're going to remember those moments. But, oh, that's so hard. Because I'm sure her sisters are like, oh, why didn't I just let her wear the shirt? Or why didn't I just let her wear the shoes? Like, you're going to go through all those what ifs because you didn't know you weren't going to get to have her forever.
Like, good.
Oh,
Yeah.
the crease guards.
She wouldn't
Fine.
talk to you. That could
like,
piss her
I
off,
don't
actually.
care. Like,
I'm on
There
her
wasn't
side
much.
on that one. The crease guard.
There wasn't much
I
that
would
could
always
make her mad.
complain because they hurt my feet, and she's like, I don't care. You can't wear them unless there's crease guards in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of our clothes. I feel like we actually didn't really fight that much.
They were
Totally.
like
We were,
best
the
friends.
Close. Like we were about 2 years apart, so we were really close. We had like a lot of the same friends, or
Yeah.
we were in high school together. So I feel like we did a lot like together, especially like once we were a little bit older. And so we were like way closer than like we didn't. I mean, we were siblings, but we didn't fight as much as I feel like.
No, and it was so
I do
cute
with
because
some of my
when you
siblings.
started high school, when you were like a junior and she started, all her friends totally took Sienna under their wing. They were like, if Jaden wasn't home and all her guy friends came over that were like actually a year older than you, you'd be like, Jaden's not here. We're gonna take Sienna to Maverick. We're gonna go take Sienna
Yeah.
for a ride. It like just made her feel like $1,000,000 because. Jaden was like she was like the fresh meat at the high school. The boys loved her. And Sienna was more of like the quiet little sister, but they adored her. Like they were like, we're taking Sienna. We love Sienna. Like she's our favorite. And they just always just loved her. And I think that made her feel so special.
And then when did she start getting into the running?
I feel like
In the last,
in the last little while, and
Yeah.
she was a big like gym rat. Like she,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
Because it's weird.
crazy.
Because most basketball players, they view running as punishment. Like,
Yeah.
you're on the baseline, and like we don't like running. But
Yeah.
like, so for
no,
her,
she actually did track in high school a couple of times too,
Okay.
just to help. Like she's like, I just want to help with my conditioning
she
for
just
soccer.
not scared
Yeah.
to fail.
No,
Like,
she
she'll go
really
do
did.
that.
She's like, whatever I can do to help me. But then the one thing that really she killed it, and she started going to the gym and she realized she's like, I have control over everything here. Like I don't have to go in and play a certain time. I don't have to, there's nothing that's
yeah.
expected of me. She was incredible in the gym. And it's funny because every single one of her friends will come tell us, like, she used to work us out so hard. Like we would literally avoid her, like, because she'd be like, get over here, get on the plank. Let me put a weight on top of you, and stuff like that. And she just like she sent us all her gym workouts, all her PRs and everything. And we have like family members that are like, I hit Sienna's PR today. And like, I don't even know how I did it and stuff. But
she
she's
would like
always
up it
in the
every
gym.
day.
Yeah.
Like I would get a notification like Sienna changed the note or whatever, and she's like, oh, I got a little bit more today. Oh, I did a little more today. So I just
Always in
upped my
competition with herself.
PR.
Yeah, no, but I think that's where she really found her. Like that was like her church was like the gym. She went to the gym. If she had a bad game, she'd be like, it's fine. I'm going to go to the gym. Like, I'm just going to work out, So she was always there all the time. And her biggest like flex was like if somebody complimented her arms, she'd be like that. She'd be smiling like, your coworker just told me I had nice arms. And I'm like, yep, she's happy like for the rest of the day, but she loved it. And actually they tell me all the kids in high school say there's a corner where Sienna worked out in the gym in the high school. And she's like, that's still Sienna's corner. They've kind of left it. It's like a peaceful, like kind of sacred spot because that's where she worked out all the time. But her friends would tell me that like if they would get kicked out eventually of the high school gym and be like, the coach, the strength coach would be like, I gotta go. Like, it's time to go. We gotta close up, and everything. And if they didn't finish their workout, she'd be like, hallway, like we'll finish up here. We'll just do the last set of like abs or whatever.
True leader.
And her friends were like, we have to actually go. And she's like, no, we're not done.
Actually go.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't.
So she was like that. It was
so
cute.
It's cool that when you're just worried about yourself and like you're just your own expectations, that makes you a better teammate, because she's not comparing herself to her teammates. She's not worried if she's better than whoever. So I think it's such a great. It's so weird how if you like focus on you and what's in your control, it just makes you a better teammate for everyone else around you, because you're not worried about it.
I feel like that's a great way to look at life, period. If you just worry about yourself and make yourself the best human that you can be, instead of judging this person or judging that person because they're not doing what you think they should be doing, or they're not living the way up to the standards that you have. Like, as long as you are living up to your standards, let's focus on that. I think that this whole planet would change if humans did that instead of project, because I believe that's a lot of what people do. They feel like they're not doing their best. So instead of being honest with themselves and taking accountability for that and doing their best, they point out other people that they can compare themselves to and say, well, they're not doing their best either. Well, she's not doing her best either. Well, they're not doing their best either. So it's okay that I'm not doing my best. When in fact, we need to look in the mirror and say, I'm not doing my best. Why not? What do I need to change? What needs to happen here so that I can be the best human I can be?
Really does.
And that sounds like who she was.
Yeah.
Oh, she was great at that. And the discipline that she had too, even with her diet and working out, everything. She was, I mean, just, I don't know, a leader in that way. And just so amazing to see at that age, because I don't think I was like that at 17, you know?
I used to be a high school basketball coach, and if I had a player that I subbed out of the game, if they would cheer for their teammates like better than the crowd, like Sienna would, oh man, like how rare that is. I mean, some players do it a little bit, and it's just kind of phony, like, yeah, good job. But like you can tell, like when it's authentic.
That was fun to watch. It was genuine. She was genuine,
and everyone
happy and
can
excited
sense
for
it.
them doing good.
Yeah. One of the cutest things that happened really quick, I know, but we were at the vigil the night, I think it was like a couple nights after they did a candlelight vigil for her. And everyone, I mean, it was awesome. I think that was really for her friends. It was so amazing. All her friends came up and just talked about her so much, but they would all talk about how boy crazy was she. Because for us, she was like our perfect child. She was beautiful, perfect. Nothing she did was bad. I found all these Snapchats, and like she was like, all these little swear words came out of her mouth, and I was like, oh my Sienna, I'm like, I expect this from all my other kids, but like, it was so funny. We were like, okay, she was real. And I love that about her. She snuck out so many times. She like talked about all the boys she would kiss and like all the boys she would make out with, whatever. But she kept talking about to all her friends, like probably 20 of them came up and talked about her gym crush. And she would talk about like seeing him at the gym. And she's like, I found gym crush, and like picture of him in the background and stuff like that. And then after like a million people coming up, this one kid comes up and he's like, hey, my name's so-and-so. Like Sienna and I met at the gym, and we're all like, it's the gym crush. Like, oh my gosh. Like, everyone laughed so hard. It was so awesome. I was like,
does he know?
I don't know, but I was like, that was so brave, because that was literally like the kid. And he's like, and she was like, not the most like, she was kind of shy, you know, but he's like, yeah, she came up and asked if she could like work in on my set. And she didn't change the weights at all, you know? And he was like, damn, you know, like this chick's awesome. Like, I don't know. It was so cute though. But we were dying because I mean, everyone laughed. So I figured he probably understood, but it was so cute. We were like, that's the gym crush. Oh my God.
That's why he never said anything to her. Because if you lift as much weight as the guy, he doesn't really go out with you.
I know. Exactly.
Like, no.
But yeah, it was so cute. It was so funny. I know. She was awesome.
And so obviously she tries running and she's good.
Yeah,
Of course she is.
The way she ran a lot, but when I signed up last year for the St. George half marathon, I was like, okay, I'm going to start training for this. I want to do this, whatever. And she's like, wait, I want to do this. And I was like, okay. But it was too late to sign her up for that. I guess the registration had already closed. So I was like, well, I'll sign you up for the one in Vegas. Like, we'll have you do that when we go out there for Thanksgiving. And I remember it taking me months to get to like a good amount of running at one time and stuff like that. And she goes out the first day. She's like, so I ran 8 miles. And I was like, your first time like of running training? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. I was like, you're amazing. But
So I ran
she
8
asked me,
miles.
I know.
Yeah.
So I ran 8 miles, no big deal. But she started having me sign her up just for random 5Ks all over the place. So she could just have practices and like to be able to time herself. And the funny thing was like most of them weren't, I mean, some of them were, some of them weren't. A couple of them weren't that great organized as far as well as being organized. So she was like, I think we ran like more than a 5K, but it's just like, it's fine. I still kept my time and everything like that. But so she just started training that. She loved it. I think it was just, she's very much a like, she likes her time. And I think that was a great opportunity for her to just have her time, listen to her music that she loved. I don't know. She was really a big music person, like loved her music. And so she just, that was like her time to just mentally, decompress, do whatever. People don't really call running like decompressing, but that she loved it. She loved it. She thought it was really therapeutic and stuff like that. So I think it was really good for her.
Yeah, some people, that's their thing.
I
They love running.
I love running, but I hate running at the
Like,
same
yeah,
time. I have
like,
like
if
a
I'm not-
love-hate relationship with
I'm
it.
not dribbling a ball while we're running. I don't know what we're doing.
Exactly.
Why are we running?
What's the point?
If
My
I'm
little-
not in danger and we're not playing basketball,
Not in danger.
why are we running?
I think my
ever?
little sister's the same way. She's like, if I have a basketball, I'm good.
Yeah.
No basketball, no run.
We're coming up on the year mark, which is obviously really hard.
Actually passed the year mark.
Just past the year
Yeah,
mark.
just it was
Last
the
Wednesday,
16th.
16th.
Yeah.
Last Wednesday.
Mhm.
So I have so many questions for you, but she gets into running. Can we get to the day of when she was killed?
I think it'd be cool to kind of start from your perspective, Jared, because Jared was the one that had to call me and tell me. But the crazy and terrible thing was that Jared was not in town when it happened. He was out of town. And so, but like just like a little bit of information leading up to it, like it was just like a regular day. Sienna had gone to school. We usually don't see her in the morning because she leaves super early.
And she's 16?
She's 17.
17?
And she had gone to school, comes home, takes her little sister Ella to practice. And I remember her texting me and just saying, hey, I'll be on a run. So if I don't answer, that's why. And so my last text to her actually was like, how was your run? Because she'd always send me like the most motivational, like every time I sent her my watch that told her my distance, she's like, you're a queen. I want to be you when I grow up and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, that's like the opposite. Like I want to be you. But so she'd send me all her, running times and everything like that. So I just remember it was like 7:10. The accident happened at 5:50 p.m. about.
Yeah.
And I remember texting her because I hadn't heard from her yet. And I was like, how was your run? But anyways, Jared was the first one to actually.
Yeah, so that happened on a Monday, but so Sunday, I had a busy week that week, had to go to Seattle. So that Sunday, I was down at my shop in Spanish Fork, and she had come down. She wanted to make some extra money. She came down and helped clean for a couple hours, and so we got to spend some time just there cleaning at the shop and working. I think she went home that day around 3. Unfortunately, I had to work till 10, 11 o'clock that night getting ready for the week, and ended up starting the drive to Seattle about midnight. We got to Seattle, kind of working all day, decided to work late that night just to get ahead for the week. It was Monday, so I was out in the shop just working on CNC machines, and I had gotten a text from her maybe about an hour before, probably about 4 o'clock or so. Said, hey, Dad, I miss you. When are you going to be back? And I told her I'd be back that Thursday. And then I got a call I saw my brother-in-law, Tyler, saw a call from him. I was kind of out in a loud shop, so I plugged one ear and I said hello. And he said, where are you at right now? And I said, Seattle. I said, are you sitting down? I said, no. And at that moment I was, it's not good when you hear that. And being in the position that he's in law enforcement, I knew it probably wasn't something great. But I said, no, just tell me what's up. And that's when he said, I need to tell you Sienna's been in an accident and she didn't make it.
Wow. I can't imagine getting a call like that. That's horrifying. I do remember my daughter was about 12, 13, something like that. And she was hit by a car while she was crossing the street. She was with my best friend and her best friend, which is my best friend's daughter. And they were crossing the street. They had the right of way. That the little guy was up, so they knew they were allowed to cross the street. It was a busy intersection, and a man ran a red light and hit my daughter, and she went flying over the hood. Um, Gratefully, she did not sustain any kind of traumatic injuries. Her knee did get messed up. She didn't need surgery or anything like that, but it did take about a year to heal. And the first couple months, she could not walk. Her muscles did not work. Like, they didn't work. She had to do physical therapy to get her leg to work again. I didn't know that your muscles can do that, but they can. They can just stop working because of an injury, and then you have to train them to work again. So for a good month or so, she was in a wheelchair because she could not walk because her legs did not work.
So as a father, that's like, I don't know. I'm used to fixing everything. You know, fixing cars, fixing problems that the kids had, the wife had. I'm just, not that I'm the best at everything, but I always was able to, navigate and help and fix everything that had come up prior to that point. So I was just drained of energy, drained of everything, almost completely lost at that moment because it was just a moment of finality. That there was nothing I could do, nothing to fix, no hospital to run to, nothing. So
And not just that, just not close, nowhere near us.
Well, that was my
nowhere
next,
near
that,
her.
that was the next. I mean, that was the first thought I had was that of just being completely lost. There was nothing I could do. And then the second thing, he asked where Aline was, and I said, I'm not sure. Let me find out. And so I went outside, and that's probably the worst call I've ever had to make in my life. To call her. She answered. I think she was driving Ella to practice or coming back.
I was on my way. I had gone to an appointment. I had come home. I was driving home, and I drove right by the accident. And I was like, oh, the road's blocked. Like, I wonder what's going on, Drove around the other way to go to my house, stayed there for about 10, 15 minutes, and then went to go pick Ella up from cheer. Sienna had dropped her off. I went to pick her up, and I'll like probably never forget. And I have to unfortunately drive it very often, but I was getting off the exit to the 500 East exit to go to her cheer gym, and Jared called me in that moment. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, do I pick up Ella or do I get right back on the highway? Because I'm like, I just I just drove by the accident. Like, it was probably half an hour ago, or I mean, maybe even a little bit more, but I didn't think anything of it,
Yeah, what's your thoughts when you see it? Does it look bad? Is there ambulance?
It was just blocked off roads and
So
a bunch
you're
of
not sure
ambulances.
what it is?
I had no idea. I thought maybe it was a car accident or something. I don't have the best eyesight. So seeing it from like the light where we were, like, I just saw, it was all just barricaded, and I didn't see anything. I just saw cars and, lights and things like that. So I was like, oh shoot. I just noticed that the road was closed because I normally go that way, and I decided to go the other way. But I was like, I cannot let Ella hear this from anybody else. I can't, And so I ran off the exit, drove off the exit, stopped so fast, grabbed and weirdly enough, she was like, I just felt like I needed to be right by the front door. I don't know why, because normally I have to go find her or text her. And I see her and I just grab her. I'm like, we need to go. And like, I put her in the car, and I probably traumatized her with how I told her, but I didn't, I was freaking out. I literally had just heard about it 5 minutes earlier,
And how did you, do you remember the words you used? Like, what did you
I
tell?
do.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, that was just the worst, because I kept hearing her just say no, you're lying.
Well, because what you said,
just kept saying no.
you said, he's like, Aline, are you driving? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, can you pull over? And I was like, well, I'm at a light. Like, what's wrong? And when you said Sienna was in an accident, she didn't make it. And I was like, she didn't make it. Like, where? Like, is she not home? Like, do I need to go get her? Like, that's what I thought. I was like, she didn't make it to the house. Like,
Just deny it?
yeah, completely. And he's like, she didn't make it, Aline. And I was like, I don't know. It was the worst moment of obviously of my entire life, but I just was like, there's no way. So anyways, so I grabbed Ella and we drove over there, and I think you called Liam because Liam was at the house and you wanted to make sure that Liam didn't hear it from anybody else either, because we just wanted to be the ones to tell our kids. And I think the next thing I did was call JD and then call Mika, right?
Yeah, and I lived in like a little townhome in Vineyard, so I didn't live at home, and I had just gotten home from work, like got in the shower, laid in bed, and she called me, and I like couldn't even make out any words. She was just like screaming into the phone, and I was like, I knew something was wrong like the second I heard her voice, so I jumped up and threw on clothes. I'm like, where do I need to go? What do I need to do? She's like, you need to go get Sienna, and I'm like, what? And so I got in my car. I literally picked up my new car that like right after work that day. I couldn't figure out how to open the stupid door, like get it unlocked.
Yeah.
So I like get in the car and I start driving, and I still have no idea what's going on, but I just knew I had to like hurry. Like my roommates were all standing in the kitchen. I ran out the door, didn't put shoes on, jumped in my car, and I'm driving around Vineyard, and she's like, "Did you talk to Tyler yet?" And I'm like, no, like, why would I talk to Tyler? Like, what do we need? What's going on?
I talked to Tyler too in between that.
Yeah. And so he called me and he's like, I need you to pull over. He's like, I need to tell you something. And he's like, Sienna was in an accident and she didn't make it. And I was like, yeah, Tyler, that's a sick joke. Like, funny. Like, what actually happened? Like, I just didn't believe him. And he kept giving me these addresses. He's like, you need to go here. And I'm like, I have no idea where that is. Like, I was just like kind of panicking. And I just remember the whole drive there just being like, she's okay. Like, everyone's just worried because no one's there, but like, I'm going to get there and she's going to be fine. Like, it's all going to be fine. And so I actually had gone around the roundabout by our house, and it was on the same road, just like around the bend. So he's like, just go around the bend and you'll be there. So I like drove over there, and I actually like jumped out of my car and ducked under like the caution tapes and just started running. And some cop like grabbed me and pulled me back. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, that's my little sister. Like, I need to be over there. Yeah, I was like, that's my little sister. That's my little sister. And he grabbed me and looked at me and goes, where are your shoes? And I'm like, that's the last thing I'm thinking about. Like,
she jumped up, ran out barefoot.
I was like, I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. It was crazy. And I was the first one there. So I was like, wow. I don't know. I've never been on like a scene of an accident. I didn't know what to expect or what to do, but he was just kind of talking to me, trying to calm me down, because I was like, I need to see her. I need to get over there. They had put like a tent over her. And I was like, that's my little sister. Like, I need to see her. And he just like kept holding me. He's like, I can't let you go over there. Like, he kept telling me, he's like, if I would not want this to be like my last memory of.
Oh, that's so hard. That is so hard to be the first one actually on the scene, and for her to still be there and covered by a tent, and you had no idea. Oh my God, that I can't imagine. I mean, when my daughter had her accident, it was kind of similar. I was on the road on my way that same direction, and so I just kept going, and then the closer I got, I ended up in the traffic that had stopped because the road was closed, and I couldn't get to her, and I was watching ambulances drive away, and so I was terrified that I wasn't going to get there to the scene before they took her away in an ambulance. So I was hysterically screaming and crying. I was about to just jump out my car and leave it where it was, but that would have blocked everybody. Nobody would have been able to go anywhere. And so eventually I make it up close enough to the scene where they're directing traffic to go a different way. And as soon as I could stop and get out the way, I pulled my car over and I got out and I ran to the scene, and I saw my daughter's shoes in the road. And I understand what she said about not believing the person on the phone, because when my best friend called me and said Olivia has been hit by a car, I didn't believe her either. Like, I just kept thinking I'm gonna get there and it's not gonna be true. So when I saw her shoes in the road, all, just off of her body and in the street, I knew it was true, and my soul broke in that moment. It just broke.
Her, and so he's like, I don't want you to see her right now. And I was like, no, like, I need to go. And then my mom finally came from like dropping out or grabbing Ella. But
Yeah, I pulled up and they let us through the you know, I was like, that's my daughter in there. And so we pulled in. I remember, I do remember I literally almost rear-ended the police car because I went in so fast and I parked and I started to run up. And I just remember 4 like shadows almost in black, like walking towards me. It was 4 of the Orem police officers. And they stopped me. And I very, very vividly remember 2 of them. And the other 2, I remember still, but not as well. But I just remember they walked up to me and I was freaking out, you know, because I was like, that's my daughter, you know, and they're like, just calm down, you know, like we, you know, they just, I don't even remember what they said really, but I do remember, you know, I said, can I please see her? Can I please see her? And one of the guys, his name's Officer Call, like I could tell he was crying. And he's like, if that was my daughter, he's like, I wouldn't want to see her. Like, please, just like, please listen, basically. And I feel like, I don't know, it's funny because I was talking to the other police officer, Officer Hoover, and I was like, I just feel like when I saw them, they kind of calmed me down enough to where I was like, these guys are not messing around. Like, they're actually very serious and they're emotional. So I'm like, I have to kind of listen to what they're saying because otherwise I would have probably like throat punched all of them and just been like, let me through there, you know, like, and it was funny because Hoover told me after, he's like, you actually weren't that relaxed. He's like, you were kind of freaking out still. But I just realized I'm like, I have to hear what they have to say. But there was a tent in the middle of the road and she was there, but they just asked us to please not go over there, you know? And so I think that's been one of the hardest things, but maybe a blessing also thinking about it now, but we've never seen her from the moment the accident happened until we buried her. We never saw her in the casket either. We've never seen her. And so I think that's been one of the hardest things, like one of the hardest reality things is that we're like, she's still like at basketball camp. Like she's still here, you know? And it's been a really hard, I don't know. It's hard. It's been kind of hard having closure in that too, when you don't see her. But then at the same time, I don't know that I would have wanted to, because I feel like I would just remember her like that. And that's not how I want to remember her either, you know? So it's kind of like a weird, I don't know. It's kind of a weird mind, I don't know, like where it's like, I wish I would have been able to see her and hold her and grab her. But at the same, you know, I wouldn't want to remember her that way either.
Yeah, the only body I saw of my family was Frankie. And like, I just connect so well with what you're saying because I have this weird guilt that I didn't see Reagan's or Courtney or Race or Ryder. But then I'm like, with you, like, well, I don't know if I would want to, because Frankie was spotless, like not a mark on her.
Perfect little baby.
And I do think the grief I have with Frankie is different than the other ones. And I don't know if it's just because she was so young or if I did see the body.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how it plays a role, but I do think it matters, like the closure and seeing them. I actually think it matters a little bit with the grieving process.
I think it does too, because I feel like really, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't have wanted to remember her that way. I don't know how they were able to put her in the casket. I know that one thing that they told us when we were meeting together, do you remember this? Jared and Tyler had to be like, let's not bring this into the conversation. But when he was saying if there's a dress that you'd like to put on her, and I said that I had an idea of one, and he's like, well, you know, the funeral director, he was like, well, she will probably be difficult to dress. And
Wow.
And Tyler was like, okay, well, we don't need to talk about that. But that just like stuck in my mind where I was like, okay, I don't know. So you're right. I feel like I struggle with closure. I remember going in the morning of the funeral and seeing the casket, and I was the first one in there because Jared hadn't gotten in there yet. But I just like broke down because part of me wanted to like rip that freaking thing open and like just grab her and like hug her and hold her because I hadn't gotten the chance to, you know, and the last time I saw her was the night before on Sunday night, you know. And so that was hard, and it still is hard. It's hard that like, I don't know.
It just makes it feel like not real.
Yeah,
you know,
and
we've had like so many things happen.
That's so hard. I wonder what is best for healing. I kind of feel like the mom might be right that she did need to see her, even though it would have been so hard. And that wouldn't have been the only memory that she had of her. She would still have all the beautiful memories. But I think for her soul to understand that her spirit has left this physical being, she needed to see what that looked like. Because if you've ever seen a person who has passed, a dead body, you can tell there is no soul in there. They don't look the same. They don't look like they're just sleeping. You can tell they're not there, that they're gone. So I think that in order for her soul to recognize that her daughter's soul is no longer in this packaging, that she needed to see the packaging. She needed to see that the soul has left that packaging. I do think that that might be incredibly important for the loved ones to be able to heal. Even though it's tragic and gory and horrifying, nobody wants to see that, see their loved one in a state like that. But I think in order to reconcile what's happened within their own soul, they need to see that that soul is no longer in that physical being.
That are always
Yeah.
everything's always okay.
No, yeah.
And was just seeing her the day before, and these guys that it's just weird. It's like not real. It's not reality.
Because if you guys ever, I went through this phase where like someone would walk through the door. I'm like, oh, it's Courtney, or did you
Yeah,
guys do that
that's-
with? Yeah, and I think that
right.
maybe it's because I never saw her.
Yeah.
And I had when you said you feel crazy, sometimes I felt crazy too, and like you have these weird thoughts, like maybe they're alive, like maybe they're alive.
Yeah, they're still
And-
here. They're
and it's
just
just
not
like-
here right now.
It's
They're
just
coming.
bargaining and denial. But like, yeah, I think there's so much truth to it in the grieving process. Jared, you make this phone call. It's the worst phone call. She hangs up and picks up the kids. What do you do after that phone call? You're all alone.
So
very far away.
at that point, immediately, like I said, the second thought I had was just the guilt of not being there. Like
Yeah.
I got to be with my family.
Dude.
I'm in Seattle. I don't know how many miles that is, but I'm immediately like looking flights, and unfortunately, it was just the time where like all the flights had gone out for the night. So I'm looking, can I fly to Idaho and rent a car and drive? I couldn't figure anything out quick enough.
And we were at home too, like everyone, our bishop, the police officer, everyone was looking for whatever flights we could possibly find to get him earlier than just having to have him
Yeah,
drive.
so it took, I don't know, I took about 10 minutes kind of doing that. When I realized everything had gone out, I said, screw it. I jumped in the truck and just started. I didn't know what else to do. I wasn't going to go sit in an airport, go to a hotel. I mean, my mind was just racing, about her and about how everyone's doing. Cause the other part of that, being there for everybody else, that was the only thing I knew I needed to do. So I just jumped in the truck. I think it was 6:30, 7 o'clock, and just drove. I stopped a couple times for gas. That was it. But other than that, just drove straight through the night. I had driven the other night. I think I'd been awake, I don't know, 60 hours or something crazy.
I know, we were
And
super
so these
worried. We
guys
like
were-
had him on like Life 360. We're like, hey, he's moving. We just like kind
Yeah, I
of
was
kept
getting
monitoring
frustrated
him.
because everyone was worried, like, you need to sleep, like you didn't sleep the night before, and like you're driving, and I couldn't get across to them that like
I don't care.
this mission, I don't care if I have to walk, crawl home, like there's nothing that's going to stop me. I'm not going to fall asleep. There was nothing stopping me from getting back to my family. I didn't care what it took, and that's what it ended up just being. I just had to drive, and so I think I ended up pulling in about, I don't know, 6:37 the next
I think it was
morning.
closer to 8 in the morning.
8.
And he just walked in and dropped all his stuff and he just broke down. And we just sat with him and let him cry for like, it was like an hour or something. It was a while. It was a long time.
You felt guilty.
Definitely I felt guilty for being gone for one. I don't know. I mean, obviously thinking of it logically, I mean, there's no way something's going to happen. You can't be there for everything, but I definitely feel guilty for not being there and somehow being able to prevent what happened. And if nothing else, at least be there for everyone else. I mean, it was just killing me driving that, like, I wasn't, like I said, I'm used to just being able to fix things and
You're the dad
make
of
things
the family.
better, And,
Yeah,
and,
you're
and
the
one,
protector.
I was kind of lost because it was, man, I can't fix this. This is like unfixable. So I was, had a ton of guilt and just didn't even know how to like react to that, because I'd never been put in a situation where like there was nothing to do. There's nothing to do about that.
But drive and be in your thoughts for like, I've thought about that a lot. Like freaking, how many hours, 11 hours or 8 hours of just sitting there in
12-hour
your
drive,
thoughts
just
the
straight.
whole entire freaking time. And that, I don't know, I can't even imagine. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a really tough drive, but at the same time thinking what are they going through, and I'm not there to hold them and console them and help them through that. So I still to this day have a lot of guilt, like, because on one hand, I've got to work, make money for the family, and in a lot of cases it requires some travel and things like that, but at the same time it just kills me that I wasn't there.
How do you keep, like, what's your mental self-talk like, and how do you keep being a father to your other kids?
Well, honestly, that was the first thing. I think if I didn't have a wife and 4 other kids that needed me, like, I probably would have checked out.
Yeah.
But that was probably the pretty quick realization that, I've got other kids that need me. They need a dad that's present, that can be there for them. I've got a wife that needs me. I've got to be there for her, and that's probably the only thing that gave me, the strength to, I don't know, to keep going. And even to this day, like, that's really one of the things that keeps me going, is that, unfortunately, life doesn't stop, and it's still to this day kind of a battle, because on one hand, I'm really sad for everything that Sienna wasn't able to. I mean, she was just getting ready to go to college. The next week we were planning to go down and look at
SUU. She got accepted to
She was
SUU.
accepted there. We were going to go look at, potential jobs and places to live. And so just thinking of the things that she'll never be able to do makes me super sad. And then, but I've also got, a wife and 4 other kids that are looking forward to things, and a lot of, bright futures and things that they have aspirations.
Oh, that's so hard because, yeah, well, part of you wants to just give up and quit and just stop living and just fold. Absolutely. I understand that completely. But like he said, he can't just fold because he's got a wife and 4 other children who are living and still need his support and his help. Oh, that's so hard. That's why I think talking about it, like getting that out of your system, is healing. Saying, I am struggling with this. Because maybe there's somebody who is also struggling with that feeling, and maybe having that support, knowing that you're not alone, is enough to help you go one more day and see the light. See the light. See what you're celebrating with your kids who are still living.
Do that. I want to be there to support. So I want to be there for that, but still I feel guilty even now, because I don't know, I'm sure it's similar with a lot of other people, but I almost feel guilty being happy about anything. Like, I feel it's hard to get excited about things now, because as soon as I get excited or feel happy about something, I have this, that voice that comes in, and the shame and the loss and the.
Oh, you're happy.
I just feel like I need to be sad.
You're happy today? Wow, you're a piece of shit, dude. Like, how can you be happy today?
Exactly.
Your daughter died.
Well, one thing I have to say about, though, Jared, I know I can be a pain in the butt wife sometimes, but Jared has I've actually worried about him more than anybody, because I know men sometimes can be a little bit more closed off. Like, I worry about my son a lot too, with just always wondering how he's feeling and what's going through his head. But Jared has been a great support to, like, the kids, to my to me, to everybody. Like, I don't know, he's kept working so hard, but at the same time, like, he really does try as hard as he can to be everything for everyone, sometimes too much, like, so I really do appreciate so much.
Well, I still feel that responsibility as a a father and a husband, to be like the rock. I can't, like, when crazy things happen all the time. I'm typically very good in those situations where I can just take charge, and when everybody else is freaking out, I'm able to, be the kind of the stable one that can figure out what we need to do moving forward. And And so that was hard, kind of not being in a position to be able to do that. One, but one of the things that does give me strength is, I kind of lost my train of thought there.
That never happens to me. I don't know. I don't
I
know
was saying
why
something
you.
else, but
I don't know how you struggle with that.
It's so
Oh.
weird.
no, but it's I don't know. I think I
Grief brain is real. That is what they're talking about. I get it. I have it as well. I did not know that that was a thing. But yeah, it's kind of like anything very traumatic that happens to you in your body, like that, losing a child. It happened to me when I lost my father. It also happened to me when my daughter had her accident. Suddenly, like, your short-term memory is just horrible. You could be talking, having a conversation, and completely forget what you were trying to say, your whole point, like what you were thinking about, what you were talking about. And it's not like a forget where you're like, oh, like when something pops and you remember and you're like, oh yeah, that's right, I was doing this. Or, oh yeah, that's right, I was about to say that. No, it's like a complete forget. Like, that thought, that thing you were doing is completely gone. Like, you didn't remember that you thought of it at all. It's completely gone. It's very different from just forgetting, like going upstairs and forgetting what you went up there to get. That's different. It doesn't feel the same. With this, with grief brain, you go upstairs and you start doing something else and you completely forget that there was a reason you went upstairs, and you just start doing completely something different. Like, that thought never crosses your mind that you came up here for a reason. And then maybe a child will come up and tell you, hey, did you get their phone? You came up here to get your phone and you're taking a shower. And you're like, huh? What? My phone? What are you talking about? It's that kind of forgetting. It's wild.
I guess, again, kind of going back to being a rock and being a strength for the family. It's I don't want to be the one that I want to be in a position mentally and like emotionally that, like, when things happen, I can deal with what needs to happen at the time and not be the one that falls apart. Because if I'm falling, if my family's falling apart, my wife's falling apart, like, I can't fall apart at the same time. Like, yeah, we can't just all lose it. So,
But I also feel like it's okay to let your kids see you fall apart every once in a while, because
sometimes I definitely do that. And
it's
they see
important for
that.
them to know that that's okay, because they should be able to do that too. You know, like because I have moments too, like I have moments where I feel like I need to do that too. But I've realized, like, my kids are so strong that, like, sometimes I have those moments and they.
Yes, I completely agree with what she's saying. And I think that what she's saying is actually unusual, that a lot of people don't feel this way. But she is right. Like, you absolutely have to be honest about your emotions, especially when you're dealing with something so traumatic and your emotions are so big. Because you think you're hiding it from your kids. You think you're putting on this smiling face and that your kids can't tell how broken you are. But they can. They know. They sense it. They feel it. They know. So you need to be honest with them. Like, right now, I am having the hardest moment I've ever had. And break. Go ahead and break and let them see it. Because they also see you healing from that break. They see you stand back up. They see you recover. And then they learn that it is okay to break, that you can get back up, and that you will heal. It is just a moment and it will pass. They learn that. So when you're sitting there hiding it and pretending that you're not feeling these feelings and these emotions aren't happening, they're learning that these emotions are bad. They're not okay. They are not safe. And they can take me out of here if I feel them. Like, I need to hide. I need to stuff. I need to pretend. I can't be honest about my emotions. And I don't believe that's healthy. I believe that's what causes a lot of disease, is holding all that emotion in and pretending it's not happening instead of being honest and allowing yourself to feel it. It's like a wave. That's how I feel. I feel like grief is kind of like a wave. It comes in waves. So here's this big wave of emotion that you're feeling. You're breaking. You feel like you can't even breathe another second. It's wave, right? And then it goes away, and then it comes back, and then it goes away. So I believe that we need to be honest about that. And definitely when you have children who are also grieving, they need to know it is okay to feel what you're feeling. What you're feeling is normal. I'm feeling it too. Excuse me. And together we can get through this. I do believe that that is so important.
They're there. They like, it's almost like they pick us up, you know? But I feel like that's why we have each other, because we all are going to have our moments where we fall apart, including you. And that's,
Yeah, and I do. 'Cause sometimes I can't keep it all together, but I don't know. I deal with things. That's why it was really hard, because Sienna and I both had a very similar personality, where I guess I would call it maybe extroverted introvert, maybe. You know, very like I have.
yeah, social
What did
introvert.
it say in the
Social
obituary?
introvert.
As
Social introvert. It's like the
Social
perfect
introvert.
way of describing her.
Like
yeah.
I love. I mean, we both were. I could. We just connected like on that level, because I always knew like how to comfort her and console her, because like when things would happen, and she dealt with things exactly the way I did, and I think that's why running and reading were like so beneficial for her, because I'm sort of similar in the fact that like I love parties, I love talking to people, I love meeting people, but I kind of have a limit, you know, like it's almost like
I've hit my
I
limit.
tap out and
I'm
I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm
exhausted
done.
now.
I turned off. Like, and
I can only wear the phony mask for so long.
Yeah.
it doesn't like it's almost like it's different from other people, where for me it takes energy to do that,
Yeah,
and I
for
almost
sure.
have to be alone and like do things on my own and be with myself. That's kind of where I recharge, and so like Sienna, I do that a lot, where I did take time to myself, whether it's going on a hike and talking to her, or you know, I deal with a lot of things internally, and you know, even with like you know, cognitive behavioral therapy or stuff like that, like kind of deal with a lot of that stuff myself, like
Yeah.
have that self-talk where, you know, your mind starts going crazy and you're calling yourself a, you know, piece of shit for feeling this way or that, and then I just have to, it just takes a lot of time to talk through that and say, okay, am I really a piece of shit? Is this true? And
Yeah.
work that out, you know, with myself. And I feel like that's kind of the way I've dealt with it and continue to deal with it. And I think that's what's given me strength to kind of be there for the family when they need me,
Yeah.
and not fall apart when, you know, I need to be there and stand up for everyone.
It's good to see you emotional sometimes, though. Like I like now and things like that. But also, we just took her senior trip. So I'm trying to take my girls on senior trips when they graduate and stuff. I took my two oldest to Greece a couple of years ago, and we were going to go to Italy. And Sienna was really excited to go to Italy and stuff like that, because there's a city in Italy, Siena, Italy, and so Jared and I decided that we were just going to take that senior trip together and stuff, and just kind of take an opportunity also to spend a lot of time, just the two of us and stuff. And we got to the city of Siena, and it was crazy, like riding on the highways and seeing every sign that says Siena this way, Siena this way, like everywhere, spelled exactly like her name.
That's so
The funny
good.
thing about when we first named her too, and my grandparents are passed away, they probably already know this, but when we first named her, because we're Italian and Argentine, and when we first named her, I loved Sienna Miller, the actress, and so that's kind of why I wanted to name her Sienna. And when we named her Sienna, my grandparents called and they were so happy, like so happy. They're like, we can't believe this. This is amazing. We love this so much. And they sent me a story about this soldier or this guy traveling to the city of Siena, and somebody stopped him and asked him for directions, and they were like, you speak Italian so beautiful, and it's where the Italian language is spoken so beautiful and everything. And I was like, Jared, we got to change the spelling of her name now.
Yeah, originally
like,
had two N's.
we got to
No
we got to
way.
take the N out, you know?
We gotta
So it's
change
funny
it
because
now.
her name is Sienna with an N, but her social security card, we never got around to changing it. And it still has two N's. So she actually got basketball playing cards one time and they had two N's, and she's like, I don't care, whatever. And I was like, Sienna, it's spelled wrong. And she's like, I don't care. It's fine, you know? But anyways, just seeing all the signs, and then we get to the city of Siena. There's a cathedral of Siena. Everything was Siena. And the Siena city, it's so beautiful, and it's such a cool city because we just cried the whole time we
I
were
was just about
there.
to ask you, are you guys
We
just
cried
like,
the
how you
whole-
handling this?
we
It's
cried the
it's
whole
that
entire
bittersweet
time.
thing. Like
Yeah.
again, going back to like the guilt of being happy. Like I was so
Yeah.
excited to be there.
But
and be on
also
the
just
trip,
like we felt her, we were like, she's everywhere. Like she's everywhere here. It's so beautiful. And like, it was good to see him just really emotional too, because I know that he loves her so much, but sometimes like I need to see the emotion too. I'm like, it means that, you know, he's dealing with it and stuff like that because he's always trying to be so strong all the time. But it was really cool. Like we just saw her everywhere.
Oh, and we were leaving the little.
Yeah, my daughter's friend Brooks made these tiny little stones and she painted like 10 or 12 of them. She's like, leave Sienna everywhere you go. Like, I just want you to be able to leave Sienna everywhere. And had her little nicknames in there because she had like Rinny and Rintu Dintu. She had all these crazy nicknames. So we left them in different places in Italy that we went. We went probably to like 6 or 7 places that we stayed. And it was like road trip everywhere. We flew over to Sardinia, stayed there too and stuff. It was so awesome. But we just left her in the sand. We left her at one of the villas that we stayed in Tuscany. We left her stone at the city of Siena, a couple of them. Just were like, it'd be so cool if somebody just finds it and they're like, Sienna, okay, this is a cute stone. I'll take it, And I don't know. It was really cool. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was hard though. I always wonder what people think because I remember we walked to.
Oh, we were
top
bawling.
And we were leaving.
We were all
And we're like,
bawling. They're like, well, are you guys okay?
Yeah, people are like walking towards us, and I'm just like
He's like
losing it like a little girl, Just,
Yeah. It was good. I loved it. I didn't care at all, and I had sunglasses on anyway, so nobody cares.
Even to this day, I mean, that's sometimes I'll be. It's just so random, I'll be driving and a thought will hit. I'm on the way to a meeting. I've got to go meet a customer, and I'm bawling in the car. And 2 minutes before, I'm slapping myself in the face and wiping my eyes.
Story of my
have
life.
to walk in and just be normal.
And they're like, "How are you?" And they're like,
Great,
"You
man.
should have seen me 5 minutes ago."
Right? No, absolutely. So it's.
But I'm great.
It's interesting, like to deal with things that way because I like to let it come when it comes, but also you still got to manage life and manage.
Because like if you
everything
don't
else.
cry on your way to that meeting, you're gonna get mad at someone in that meeting. Like, you're an idiot, and it's just gonna come out in other ways.
Yep.
Like, it's gonna
Right,
own you.
it's good to let it come through, but it is just so random. Like when it comes, it's just.
That's what crying's for. Jaden, man, a lot of my podcasts, I talk to parents who've lost children or a spouse, like a spouse thing. But losing a sibling, like, and Race was my older brother. So like, out of everyone I lost, Race was my longest relationship, like from birth.
Yeah.
Like, never had a longer relationship. And I think, man, not talked enough about on this podcast, which is sad because I've lost a sibling. But walk us through, like, and very young age, like she's 17, you're 9. How old are you when she passed away?
19.
You're super young, just out of high school. What's this been like for you and your other siblings, losing Sienna?
It's been hard. I feel like for me, I've tried to do like make as much positive out of it as I can. And it's hard, but I feel like I almost try to distract myself with other things a lot of the times because it's hard to deal with, and like I almost don't want to believe it, so I'm like, let me just do everything else that I can to kind of block it out. But I do try and I did a lot on like my social media kind of at first and talked a lot about, because I've never dealt with grief. I've lost, like, my grandpa passed away when I was young, but I never really fully understood it. And so when everything happened, I kind of didn't really know what to do or what to expect. And I remember my uncle told me, he's like, there's no right or wrong way to grieve. There's no right or wrong way or what you're thinking that you need to be doing is right. Like, there's nothing, I don't know. That probably doesn't make any sense. But like, there's no right and wrong way for anything.
Yeah.
And so I did a lot on social media, and I think talking even to my phone and like just recording it and being raw and real and having uncomfortable conversations, even with myself, it felt good to just be able to open up about it, because I felt crazy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like some of the things I'm saying, I'm like, oh my gosh, people are gonna think I'm like mental, like what? And then people would text me and be like, I feel the same way. Like, I would never tell anyone this because they think I'm psycho, but like, I totally understand you. And it was like, I don't know, it was kind of cool. I feel like I met a lot of awesome people through it, because people just want someone that they can kind of connect with and someone who understands them on that level. And now I get it, because before I would have been like, I'm so sorry, but I have no idea what you mean, how you feel. And so I feel like it's been really hard. And I feel like with younger siblings, it's hard because like I don't know, me and Ella and Liam will talk and we're close and whatever, but I'm like, how do you feel? And they're like, I'm good. And I'm like,
I'm good, bro.
no, but like, how do
bro.
you really feel, bro? And he's like,
I'm good, bro.
dude, like, it's not that deep, bro. Like, leave me alone. And I'm like, okay. So, like, I feel like it's kind of hard to, like, for all of us to, like, fully understand and be able to open up about our feelings.
I think
and,
for
like,
right now as siblings, because I think about that a lot too, because I feel like the parents get so much like love and support and everything, and the siblings do too, but I think that sometimes the siblings grieve differently. Like they were best friends. Like I'll tell you one thing about siblings, that if you have siblings, kids or siblings, like force them, if you decide to give them a car or something, force them to drive their siblings around. Like tell them, be like, you can have a car. We always made that rule with our kids. If you have a car, that's part of it. We'll pay for the car. We'll pay for the gas. Not that it's going to be like the most high class car or whatever, but we'll pay for all of that. We'll help you with all of that. But your job is, if your siblings need rides, we need your help in that way. And I think the most memorable moments that they have together, Mika with Jaden and Sienna, Jaden with Sienna and the twins, and Sienna with the twins and Jaden
like
and stuff.
some of our, like,
just that's their best moments that they had.
Well, those memories
Videos,
would be fun to go back
Snapchats,
and look at those,
and they're
the
so
videos they
like
made in
they're
the
so
photos.
like just candid and fun and stupid, and it, you know, they're like, you know, Jaden jumps in the car and starts twerking in Sienna's face while she's like trying to, you know, but it's the funniest videos ever and most amazing moments that like they will never get back like any other way, but like also they'll never forget, because it's like those were just the most incredible times that they had in the car. And so I think they've all found their ways to honor her in like different ways, because they all loved each other. I know they loved each other so much, whether they fought or not, I know they did. But really, like the times that Sienna was lucky because she was in the middle, so she got to be with Mika and Jaden, and then she got to be the big sister to the twins and all their friends. Like they loved her so much, and just the times that they spent together, I'm so thankful that I forced them to drive each.
That is so incredible. I never even thought about that. But yeah, definitely drive your siblings around. I never got to experience that. That's a different story. But anyways, that's a great idea. And I'm sure those memories, they'll have those memories forever.
Other, because sometimes they'll be like, I have to drive, like what, I have to do stuff, I have to go to the gym, whatever. You just have to take your kid, your twins here, and that's it. Like I'm working, like if you can help me with that, then you can go do whatever you want, you know. And that is like one of the biggest blessings, is forcing them to drive each other around, because that was where they had like memories that they're like irreplaceable. They're so awesome.
One of the things that really hurts is you see something that Sienna would have liked, or whoever that you love passes away, or something happens that, and you like, I want to show him this or talk to him, and then it hits you like you can't talk to him.
Yeah.
How do you, Jaden? How do you handle those moments when you're like, oh, I want to talk to Sienna again, and it's just so gut-wrenchingly awful? Do you just cry? Do you like, what do you do?
Yeah, I feel like I actually had one of these moments like a week or two ago, because I did like a huge event at work. I do like kind of the marketing and stuff at my work, and so I put on this big event, and I was like stressing so much because there were so many things I had to get done, and I don't know, it was the day of, everything was crazy, and I was like, on my way to work, I was like, okay, I need to go here, I need to go here, I need to go here, and my first thought was like, it sucks because I know like Sienna was like my little like sidekick. Like we were, I don't know, we always did stuff together, but like I knew if I needed something, I used to be like, Sienna, dude, I need you to go do this like really fast, like need to get you over here. And so like that was hard for me, as I was like, the first person I would call to like help me with this is like Sienna, and I'd just be like, hey, I really need you to pick up this stuff and I can't make it. Like, can you please get over there? And she'd be like, yeah, for sure. Send me the address, but Venmo me because I have no money, maybe. Like,
But no, like,
okay.
that's why like it's the little comments like that you miss so much. Like,
Yeah.
he would at least make me laugh or feel better.
Yeah.
If he couldn't
Yeah.
even help, he would like still help in a different way.
In a
Yeah.
funny
Yeah.
comment,
well,
yeah.
and now it's like in the moment, it was so annoying. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Right.
Like, we'd always go to the gas station and she'd be like, can I have your card? I have no money. And then we get home and she's like, yeah, I got like $6,000 in the bank. I'm saving. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's because I pay for your drinks everywhere
No, we
you
found
go,
this
'cause you have
protein.
no
We
money.
found this protein cookie box in her
Right.
drawer, like money she was saving it, like hundreds of dollar bills, 50s, everything. And we're like, she was always poor, but she was not
Yeah,
poor.
she
She
was
was just
not.
really
She was
smart.
smart with it. She had a bunch of money
She
saved
had-
up for a
yeah.
car.
She let you know about it too.
And
I
JD's
know.
way too generous. She every time the twins Venmo or ask her, like, can you tell the kids to Venmo or to ask us for money. Like, don't let them ask you for money, and she'll Venmo them like she's their mom. I'm like, Jaden, you don't need to do that.
Well,
She's
I
the
feel like I
best.
owed it to Sienna because when we were younger, I used to steal all of her money because she showed me where her safe keys were. So I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to Starbucks. I'd grab a 20 out of there.
You're
And
the
so I'm like,
worst.
yeah, I feel like I owe it to you. I'll pay for your drink this time, girl. I got you.
It's just payback.
Yeah, I remember.
But now it's like I wish we could have those moments again. Like it made me so angry sometimes when I'm out and like, so I don't know. I miss that. But,
Yeah, I remember at race, he used to put me in headlock. He was a wrestler.
Yeah.
So he'd put me in the headlocks, leg locks. And I miss it now. I used to hate it. And now I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I'd love a figure four right now.
Right.
A couple nights ago, I'm crying in bed. It's not going well for me. And I'm just talking to Sammy. And I'm trying to explain how I feel. And I'm like, like losing a kid, I think if I had to use one word, it might be defeated. Like, I just feel so defeated. Like, what's the point of anything? I don't, like, there's no energy to, it's just defeat. You've lost. You can't do anything. And I think that might be the word I use. Talking to you two, how do you guys deal with that feeling of it's over? Like we defeat.
It's hard. I think our perspective's changed a lot. I know mine has. Just on life, in quite a few different ways. On not only just how fragile life is and how quickly things can change, but also questions like that. Like what's important? Where do we go now? What goals do we have? It's almost like our whole life got flipped upside down, as I'm sure yours did as well. In
Yeah,
the
and
day,
and you guys didn't mess up. You guys didn't. It just seems so unfair and out of nowhere. So how do you know like it's not gonna happen? Like, what are
it's
you guys
still a
doing?
process.
Trying
it's still
again?
like I think it is even for myself. That's very difficult because I don't know. It's like I said, it's changed perspective in quite a few different ways, and in some good ways, it's kind of changed for. I think I don't make such a big deal about a lot of things now because it's like, man, that was a really hard, shitty thing. It's like everything I look at, I'm like, man, that looks really hard, but nothing's ever going to be as worse. I mean, knock on wood. I mean, there's a lot of people, including yourself, it can always be worse. People that, have gone through worse things, but it also gives me strength that other people have gone through this and they're doing okay. But at the same time, barring that same phone call or something else happening, like I look at things like, okay, this isn't that bad.
Yeah, it's like when you got that terrible phone call, everything you used to worry about.
Yeah, I understand that. I definitely have a new perspective on life after losing my father. I do feel that same way. Like, I feel like I can do hard things. So when I'm facing adversity and something difficult or challenging, it just doesn't feel as overwhelming as it used to. Because now I know I can face really difficult things and I can get through it. That it will not kill me, that I will still be breathing once I've crossed this, and also that it's just a moment and that moment will pass. Like, whatever emotions I'm feeling, whatever adversity will pass. Just give it time. It's gonna pass. You're gonna be okay. You can do this.
Now incinerated, like you don't worry about it anymore.
Right.
Yeah, it's so weird.
But at the same time, it is. Sorry, no, it's just it is that is difficult. That's still something I think I'm working through. That
it's only been a year for you, yeah. Like,
figuring out what's important, what is. I feel defeated a lot of times. It's like you try to figure out, what's important in this life, and it always comes back to, at least for me, just family. My wife, my kids, and then. Aside from that, just helping others. I mean, that's one thing that definitely changed for me as well, was all that outpouring of love, and I mean, just our family, friends, but even strangers, who just come out and offer support, and it's just once I don't know, it gives me a lot of reason to give back and try and supply other people with that, because I know I've been in situations where that's happened to other people, and I've been in that situation where you feel it, but like, man, I don't understand. I can't understand. I haven't been through it. So, but having gone through it, it means a lot more when you talk to someone that's been through it, because I know they know at a way deeper level than just somebody coming up and say, hey man, I know how you feel. Okay.
Yeah, I think
No, you don't.
right. No, there's so much truth to this because like what comforts me isn't like a really cool thing someone says. It's just sitting in the presence of someone else who feels grief and can understand what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's so much help. Like, can we just sit in this together?
Yeah, I think it is hard for us because we hide and shy away from our emotions. We hide when we're feeling horrible. We hide moments of death. We hide our old, we put them away in nursing homes so nobody sees them. Nobody gets used to the idea that this is what happens. And it's okay. And it's okay to feel that emotion. It's okay. And you're not wrong for that. You need to feel it. And because we don't, it's so uncomfortable when you see somebody who is and you don't know how to approach them and you want them to stop because it's making you uncomfortable. So that's why you say, don't cry, don't cry. And that's why you say, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay, because you want them to stop emoting because it's making you uncomfortable. When in fact, what we need is to lean in, allow them to feel what they're feeling and just be there. Just be there. You don't need to say anything to make them feel better. You don't need to make their hurt stop. That is not your job. Your job is to connect and let them know that they're not alone, that you are here. I'm standing here with you. I am holding your hand, and you are safe to cry and to break. And I'm going to be right here. I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to make you feel guilty for that. I'm not going to make you feel uncomfortable because I'm uncomfortable. I'm going to stand here with you and I'm going to connect. That's what we need to do when we run into somebody who is grieving and somebody who has had such a tragic loss or something traumatic has happened to them. That's it. Don't try to take their pain because you cannot. There's nothing you're going to say that's going to make it feel better unless you can make their loved one come back alive. Now, you can't do that. So the only thing you can do is allow them to feel what they're feeling and let them know that they are safe and it's okay.
And understand how terrible it is. And then we can try to do some good or whatever. But like, that's what I like. I don't like people. It's fine. It's okay. I'm like,
Right.
what part of it's okay?
Yeah,
No,
no,
and
it's
like-
not okay, man.
I don't
Yeah.
get where it's okay, but like, you don't have to tell. Like, I'll get up and keep going. You don't have to say it's okay though, because
Right.
it's not.
Right.
And when you say it's okay, it makes me not want to get up. It makes me want to lay
Yeah.
back down and drink alcohol and kill
Right.
myself.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Well, and the worst thing too is like I feel bad because I think about all the times when someone's lost someone, and I'm like, I hope I've never told them, like, it was meant to be, or like they're in a better
Oh,
place now. Because I'm like,
Oh, I hated
as much
hearing
as
that.
I'm like, I believe in heaven and everything, but I'm like, I just have such a heart. It was her time, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't think I'll ever be able to accept or understand that comment. And I know no one ever means bad by saying that, but I'm like, there's no way for a 17-year-old little girl that was like, same with a woman with beautiful children, little kids. I don't know. I just don't believe that. I do believe that things happen and stuff like that, whatever, but I just can't understand that. I can't understand that. I have a really hard time.
Well, it was like you were saying, Mason. Like, we didn't do anything wrong. She didn't do anything wrong. Your family didn't do anything wrong. We're doing our normal everyday stuff. Your family driving on the freeway, Sienna running. I mean, normal everyday things. So those comments were super hard. That
And no
"Oh, it's
one
her
means
time. She's in a
no
better
one means
place."
anything bad by
And then you hear like a story like, "Oh, my daughter was in a car accident but survived by the grace of what," and you're
You
just
start
like,
comparing. I don't know about you. I start comparing things.
yeah,
I'm
you're just like, what?
not that you want anything bad to happen to anyone else, but I always think,
Right.
like, why her? She was so good.
Yeah.
Like, but then I feel guilty immediately after because I'm like, I don't want,
Yeah.
it to happen to somebody else other than her.
It
just
is
to,
hard
you know,
though
do
sometimes because
someone else,
sometimes
but
you do think you're like,
I do.
did I deserve? Like I thought that for a really long time because I remember when my kids were babies, and I would be like, God, I can handle a lot, and I have. I've made a lot of stupid mistakes, and I've had to become, responsible for a lot of things because of things that I've done. It's like I can handle a lot. I was like, please don't ever take one of my kids. I don't know why I said that one time, but I was like, please just don't ever take one of my kids. Like, you can take me, whatever, I don't care. But I'm like, don't ever let anything happen to any of my kids, you know? And so, like, for a while, I was like, maybe I did something, like, bad enough that he was like, all right, well, this is what you deserve, you know? Like, I don't know. It was like really hard. It took a long time for me to be like, geez, I even asked you straight up, like in my car out loud. I was like, don't ever take anyone, don't take my kids. Don't ever take my kids. And that was hard. That was really hard. I was like, oh,
Well,
guess I didn't deserve that prayer to be answered or something. I don't know. It was really crappy. Like it made you feel really crappy. And I know that that's not the case, and I don't believe that, but like it was hard to like.
Well, when you're sitting in the grief 24/7, those thoughts will start to enter your mind for sure. And it's such a rare thing that happened to you guys. You can't help start to have these thoughts like, okay, why did it happen to Sienna? Why did it happen to us? And then you go down the rabbit hole of, I said this one time, I did this one
Well,
time.
and I remember laying down on my mom's lap that night, and I was like, I'm so sorry, Sienna. I'm so sorry, Sienna. And I don't know if I was saying like, I'm so sorry this happened to you, or I'm so sorry, like, I didn't deserve to be able to keep you for longer, or something like that. You know, like I really felt that way, and it made me feel so bad. I was like, maybe I just didn't live a good enough life that like I deserved to keep her because she's so good. My other ones, they're still here for some weird reason. No, I'm just kidding. But like, I really felt that way for a long time. And I just apologized to her all the time. I was like, I'm sorry, I
Well,
didn't do enough.
I mean, you make a little joke to Jaden, but I think it's so hard for parents to talk about grief because they don't want to upset their spouse or their kids. I have that with Blue and Sammy. It's hard to talk about the shame and guilt and grief and how I would like to be dead when I love
Because
you
they're,
guys.
yeah, because
and
you're
I-
like, well, I'm still
you guys
here.
are perfect, and I don't. Yeah, and so you just don't talk. Well, like I'm just not going to share my feelings then, and then that doesn't work because then a month goes by, and it just
Builds
into
up,
something
yeah.
not good. And communication is so hard. But I think if you try to have those tough conversations, even though I'm gonna feel like, why are we doing this? This hurts and this is really uncomfortable. I think eventually that communication will lead to handling the grief better.
I agree. I agree. I think there is something about telling your story and telling it over and over and over and over again that is healing you each time that you tell it. You are healing yourself and you're also healing somebody else because guaranteed somebody is listening and they haven't found the strength to tell their story, but watching you and hearing you tell your story is definitely healing them, and eventually they will get to a place where they can tell their story, and it will be because of you telling your story. So yeah, I do believe it's so important, like to listen to these stories, to talk about it, to tell them. Like, it's so important. It's saving lives. Like it's saving people's lives because, like he said, he's still here. He still has a son. He's got a wife, and that doesn't mean that he doesn't mourn the lost children and his lost wife. He still mourns them, but he's got to find a way to heal that, to reconcile that in his body, and the best way for him to do it is to talk about it. And that's the hard part because we don't have a safe space to do that. You can't just go sit down at the bus stop and start talking to the person next to you and start telling them your death story. Like you just can't do that. You really can't. There's nowhere to go. Like you said, you can't just go sit down at the dinner table and start talking about your death story. Let me tell you something. I feel horrible today because this happened and then I feel bad because of this, and you can't. Like you need a safe space. So like I don't know, maybe in a circumstance like this, maybe it's a good idea for them to once a month have a death story where everybody sits at the table, make it a thing, make it an event, good food, good music. Everybody sits at the table and tells the story from their perspective. Every month, everybody does it. Every single month, everybody does it just to get it out of their system. Let's talk about it. This is our safe space. This is our sacred moment where we are going to heal. We're going to heal each other and we're going to heal ourselves. Maybe something like that is important.
And that's something I want to get into with you guys. You guys seem to have a very close family unit. just like the stories of you communicating, like when she's going on a run, with like very like I don't think a lot of parents have that good of communication with their kids. Like teenage kids don't just reach out to their parents like that. Usually, it's like I'll see you on Monday, maybe.
Yeah.
So I just like we've talked to you guys individually, but as a collective, as a family unit, like what has this done for you guys? Has it brought you immediately closer from the get-go? Did it kind of spread you guys apart at first and then you came together, or what has that process been like with a family of 5 losing the middle child? Do you think like the communication of it, how have you worked that?
I think we're not as perfect in communication as we are, but that's like maybe you think we are, but like texting with teenagers actually is a really good thing because kids, they just text all the time, you know? So like, I feel like even if you're texting them, I think that's a really good thing because I feel like that at least helps them talk, even if it's not always with you right in front of your face. Because I remember when everything happened at first, I was like, we got to get these kids in therapy. Like I want them to be able to talk about things. I want them to like talk to somebody if, you know, because I don't want to force things. Like, and I felt like I was trying to force a lot and stuff, but I was like, this is going to be like a lifelong process. I know we can't fix everything. We will probably never will. But I just realized I was like, I kind of backed off a little bit when it came to that part. Cause I was like, I also don't want to force them to talk to other people either. Cause I remember having Liam sitting in with a therapist. He was seeing a therapist that actually Sienna had seen a little while. And she's a cute young girl and so awesome and everything. And Ella really connected with her and stuff. But Liam would sit in there and be like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How old are the twins?
They're 15.
Oh,
Liam is just like,
tough age for,
yeah. And so I just realized I'm like, I'm going to back off a little bit. But I've been watching them. Like we have group chats. We have one of just the ones that live at home. It's called the homies chat, you know, like, which sometimes Mika's like, well, cool, thanks. I guess that was set in the homies chat and I'm not in that one, you know, but like we have that one and then it's called the family or the fam or something. And that's everybody. But we really try to communicate, even if it's like funny things, general things, like things like that. But I've noticed that like, even if my kids don't, I have more that talk in person. My girls are really good communicating. But Liam, I've noticed that he will communicate when he needs to in certain ways, but a lot of times it's over text message. But I'm like, I'll take whatever I can get at this point, you know? And because sometimes I think I force too much and I don't think that that's always productive either. But I've noticed that he'll do little things where I'm like, okay, he's got things on his mind. And like, I just want to make sure I'm acknowledging and I'm letting him know that I see it and stuff. But he sent me a text the other day and he had created, cause when everything happened, Sienna she went to Provo High and she was a senior at Provo High, but my twins were at Lake Ridge and we live in the Mountain View district. So we were like, we're not sure where they're going to go to school, but Liam was playing football for Mountain View for 9th grade. Ella was kind of doing a little online and a little at Lake Ridge. But when she passed away, he immediately went over and tried out for the basketball team, like just out of nowhere. And we're like, okay. At Provo High. And so my friend Jake called me and he coaches the team and he's like, Aline, he made the team and he hasn't played basketball for a long time, like since he was little. So we were kind of shocked at that too, because he went from soccer to football. And he was like, Aline, Liam made the team, but like he doesn't go to the school. Like he needs to be enrolled at the school, you know? So I was like, okay, well, I guess he wants to go to Provo High, you know, like what do we do? And it was in the middle of the year, you know? So Cami Alvarez, the principal at Provo High, somehow, I don't even know, made it happen in literally 24 hours. She got him transferred to Provo High. He started at Provo High. He played basketball. He's not amazing at basketball. He did fine, whatever. Didn't play a ton, but I was like, I don't care. He took the number 11, which is her number. And he just, I don't know. He just loved it there. Like all her friends, he became their little brother. They just took him under their wing and everybody treated him so amazing. And it was amazing. That whole thing was like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Ella wanted to stay doing online or whatever. And, but Liam went, he just transferred. And like the other day, he made the football team too. And so he's playing football this year for Provo High and he is younger. So I don't think he got first dibs on the numbers. And somehow he was able to talk the kid that got number 11 into giving him his number. And so he sent us all a group text and was like, I got her number, you know? Awesome. And he was so excited. And he'll make these little TikToks or lead his little Instagram posts that say like, just for her or only for her. And like, it makes me, they had a really close friendship. And I found that by looking at her Snapchat stories, like they were together a lot and his friends loved her so much. Same with Ella and stuff and Jaden. But the other day he sent me a picture and he's like, I designed this in my class, whatever. And it's like the number 11 and it's like 2 ones and his picture with his jersey's in one and her picture with her jersey is in the other one. And so you just see like, yeah, you just see like they're just he's kind of doing his own grieving in his own way, which for me it's hard because boys the boys don't talk as much, you know.
Yeah.
So I just think that we are just trying in every way that we can, or even just the things that we do together, the things that we do to remember her, just to help them to realize like when you're ready to talk about stuff, like just do it, like do it at any way you can, or express it any way you can, you know, because I think that that's a big thing, is that like, I don't know. We've been raised in a family of Latinos that don't communicate that well. Like we don't talk about our issues, especially mental ones and stuff like that. Like if you have depression, if you have anxiety, that really doesn't exist in our culture, at least where I grew, like with my family that I grew up with, it just wasn't spoken about a lot. And so it was really healthy for us to be more aware of that. And I think that happened amongst our family. So I feel like our kids have been a lot more open of like Ella will tell me, she's like, I'm feeling really anxious. I'm having a really hard day. Like, what can I do or whatever? And I know Sienna would do that a lot. And Jared was so
she would
good
get
to
a
help
me a lot on that. Like I love that, but I think, you know, I've almost always been self-employed, so I've been able to, you know, take the kids. I mean, memories like that were just amazing. Dropping kids off at school and picking them up and going to all their things. And but we do family hikes. We do things like that. We did quite a few things that I think brought us together. But it was super nice to like be there, like for her, like when, you know, she needed tampons or needed whatever. You know what I mean? Like anything that she needed. Like they've really been pretty good about texting us or talking to us,
and we've gotten better. I'll have to say, your first kid, I swear, is always your like your tester kid, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Mika was like, well, I can beg to differ just a little bit, because I'm sure we were a lot crazier back then. I felt like we had to do everything by the book, you know, like force your kids to get up and do things that like now I'm like, why did I do this? Like it wasn't even very productive for our family.
Kid, you're like, where
we have to do this like every morning, you know. And now we're like, we don't give a crap, you know. But like, so I feel bad because Mika probably had to get the worst of us, but I feel like you just learn and stuff. But I think that it's gotten better. And even with her, like, I feel like they feel a lot more open to tell us when they're struggling. And I was not raised that way. We did not talk about if we were struggling.
I think few people are. And it's so hard to talk. I mean, the only time I talk about it is literally podcasts.
Yeah.
And that's why I created it, is like because it's so hard to talk about. And because one of the reasons is like, okay, when do we talk about it?
When you have to schedule a time for it.
Do you want me to ruin your work day?
Well, that's another thing too. Sometimes I feel bad
when do we talk about
when
it?
people are like, how many kids do you have? And I'm like, okay, I don't want to bring down the party,
Right.
but I want to be honest and tell you, you know? And so there'll be times, I'm an esthetician. And so I've talked to people, like I've actually been at Sundance, this sweet lady, like I was talking to her about, she asked me about my tattoo and I was telling her about it and why I cold plunge all the time. And I felt her, like when I was telling her about Sienna, she just goes like this and like wraps her arms backwards and just like wants to give me a hug from behind while I'm doing her facial. And I was like, I love you so much for that, because I know that I just totally brought down the whole mood. Like you just wanted to relax.
Aww.
And I just wanted to be honest. And so
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's hard because you feel bad. You're like, sorry to, geez, like party pooper over here.
I think we're like that in just culture, you know. I mean, we meet each other. We're like, hey, how's it going? I think it's like the most like weird question, because I think everybody's like, oh, great, man. I mean, if we were all honest, you know, we never get anything done.
Exactly.
Right?
Like, we've built a culture where it just doesn't really have time for grief. Like, how you doing?
Right.
Like, not good. And they're like, oh, well,
like, I actually really didn't ask. I don't really want to know.
Sorry. Like,
you know, it's very hard to find times to like. I feel the exact same way. It's tough. Like, when do you, even with family, it's like, when do you bring it up? Do we?
That's exactly what I was talking about. When do you talk about it? But I think it's so important. Like, you need to have a time where it is safe to talk about this. So I think that is very important, that maybe once a month, you know, hey, it's time for our death talks. Death talks, everybody, let's get together. Everybody gets together, invite the whole family. Everybody comes home. We sit around the dinner table. We eat really good food. We play really good music. Whatever makes us comfortable. We bring whatever the lost person's things around so that their energy is with us as well. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we're doing. Let's talk about how we're not doing. Let's talk about what we've learned. Let's talk about what we unlearned. Let's talk about it all. I think that is something that Americans need to do. Once a month, let's have our death talks. Let's do it.
get a time for it,
Right.
Because it often doesn't come up like super
Yeah. So
conveniently.
So start a podcast, and I'm like, okay, now turn the camera on, and now everyone's phone's away, and like, hey, we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
No one's going anywhere.
I actually think that's amazing. I'm telling you, even hearing you talk with all the people that you've talked to has been like therapy. It's been my therapy, I'm telling you, because so many things I can relate to, and so many things I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense that they would feel that way, or that makes so much sense that they, I don't know. It's been really, I really do hope you know how much that has helped many people, but like me especially, like I have found just, I don't know, like I turned off everything. Like I turned off all music, everything, like everything would make me bawl. And I literally listened to like, even hearing your voice, and I'm like, you sound like you're my brother. Because I feel like I've heard your voice so much, because I listened to every single one, because I was like, I need this.
Yeah.
I need this even to like find a way to make it through today, because I feel like this helps a lot, just listening to the ability to be real with how you feel too. Because sometimes I don't want to show people how I'm feeling. I want to just be okay.
Yeah.
You know,
when Jared's like, because what state? Where Seattle? Where were you?
Washington.
Washington.
Seattle.
Sorry, you're in Washington, and you're just like, yeah, worst phone call. I felt so guilty. I'm just, thank you. Like, yeah, that's how it feels, and like, that's the stuff I get out of this more than, I don't know, like a cool quote or anything. It's just like, wow, I'm not crazy.
Right.
These are normal feelings. And he's a dad, and he get losing a daughter and being a girl dad and all the things.
Yeah, it's so important. And I think that is why listening to the stories help, because then you're connecting. You know that you were not alone in these emotions and these feelings, and that they're okay and they're normal. I think that is so important. That is why I'm creating this channel. That is why we do these death talks, because I believe you need somewhere to talk about it. You need a safe place to let this out, because if you don't, it's going to take you over, and it'll take everything. It'll take the life you have left, and you might as well enjoy it. You're here. You're going to die at some point. So while you're here, you need to live the best life you possibly can. And part of that is being honest about your emotions and feeling your emotions and being okay with that and creating a safe space to do it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, that's what I love about it too, is just because you feel so alone and isolated, and you don't feel that way.
100%. You feel like no one's gone through the same thing. No one understands.
And you feel like no one really wants to hear about it.
Yeah.
Like they love you and they'll do it, but like we don't really want to.
Right.
We want to talk about the football game.
Right.
And the
It
gas
always
prices.
starts like an uncomfortable conversation too, because you say like, they're like, how are you? And you're like, I'm really not okay. And they're like,
You say that?
Right.
Hell yeah. Oh, wait,
She
who
does
says
sometimes.
that? Who says that?
like anybody. Like,
Yeah, I love that.
well, and
You're
also
like,
it's hard for me to be like, I'm great, because I'm like never great. I'm like, I
Yeah.
feel okay, but it's
I'm
so
not
hard to
doing
be
good.
like,
How
I'm
are
so
you?
good. How are you? I'm like, I'm vertical. Like I
then
usually
they
will
look
say,
at
I'm
you
like,
and they're
I got up
did
this
not
morning.
expect that
Yeah.
response. So you're like,
Yeah.
they don't
I
know
love
what to
that.
say.
You
So
catch them off
sometimes it's
guard.
hard. Yeah.
But it's funny because the ones who kind of understand, they're like, how are you? They're like, oh my, I did not mean to ask you that. That's like a really stupid question. And then they just give me a hug and I'm like, I get it. It's fine. Thank you. Like, I love you for that. And it's hard too, because when I try to tell people too, I don't do it for the acknowledgement of it or anything, but sometimes it's a segue into a conversation I'm having about something. And they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so, like, and I'm like, it's okay. Like, thank you, but I feel bad because I'm like, I'm not telling you for you to feel sorry. I know I appreciate it so much, but so it's just like so awkward sometimes to have those conversations. The worst is like when people, I know you see people in there, they see you from far and like, I normally like, I don't know, I'm pretty good at avoiding certain situations, but it's funny when people see you and they're like, they walk up and they're like, I couldn't make it to the funeral. I couldn't do it. And I'm like, don't ever apologize to me for anything like that ever. I just can't.
Like
I
you
just feel so.
care.
I'm like
you were at the theater, like, where's
I know.
John?
Like, good to see you. Like, obviously you weren't there because you didn't hear this, but I'm like, don't ever, please don't ever apologize to me about anything, probably ever again, because I'm like, I never just, I don't know. Like you said, like things just don't matter the way they did anymore. And we're a family of that way too. Like we get a lot of guilt trips where you're like, oh, haven't heard from you in a long time, blah, 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 blah. Like, nice to hear from you. I had barely recognized your voice, and stuff like that. But I can't, it's just made me realize I'm so grateful for those moments that I have with those people. I don't want to ever take advantage of them, but don't ever apologize to me for
We can let a lot of little things ruin relationships
very
lose a
easily,
lot of
very
time
easily.
over,
Yeah.
over stupid things that don't matter. And I think it's really clarified a lot of those things that there's just a lot of shit that happens that doesn't matter. Just let it go.
And Sienna was a huge thing for that too. I remember she was a religious gym goer at 5 a.m. I've gotten way better, but like there'd be some mornings I'd be like, Sienna, I'm so sorry. I missed it. She's like, Mom, it's all right. We have tomorrow. We're good. You're good. I love you. Blah, blah. Never, ever got mad at me. I regret every single time I didn't make it to the gym now with her, but like every single time she was
still
like,
made you feel great.
yeah, she's like, don't worry about it. It's fine. You needed the sleep. Like, it's fine. It's all good. You know, like she was the best, most forgiving kid you would ever meet. Like never got
brings a lot of guilt.
She would send me her Shein carts and she's like, did you by any chance order that stuff from Shein? It's like a little online. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I forgot. Mom, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We can do whatever, you know, like just the most forgiving kid. It's made it very easy to like take on that same mentality. Cause I'm like, she's just a good kid. Like we need to, those are those things that we take from her, everything we could take from her. But like, those are those things that just, I remember so much about her is that she was so forgiving of everybody. So
we're coming up on a year, or sorry, just past a year. Can we?
Do you guys care if I pee really fast?
No,
like,
go for
I
it.
drank a coffee and a tea, and I'm like starting to shake.
Part of your 90%. I mean, it's only been a year. Your 90% is unfolding on you guys. But can we talk about this event you did? Was it on the anniversary? Was it just around the anniversary?
It was around the anniversary. I'll just tell the beginning.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and stop this story here. If you'd like to see the entire episode, go to at the 1090. Sorry, at the 1090, which is an amazing podcast. I have just discovered it, and we will definitely be using more stories. We'll definitely be having more death talks. Anyways, thank you for holding space. Thank you for being here. If you feel so inclined, please give me a like, a follow, or a subscribe. And until next time, this has been Death Talks.